My name is Gary Gaston, and it is an honor of mine to serve as the CEO of the Civic Design Center. First and foremost, we must acknowledge some of the tragedies we collectively have seen this year before we recount our successes. In March, we experienced a tornado that devastated areas across Nashville, destroying thousands of homes and businesses in the city. And shortly thereafter, COVID-19 isolated us from our workplaces, our schools, our friends, and our families. And it has taken the lives of over 240,000 in the US alone. And the ongoing dark shadow of systemic racial inequities in our country awoke a reckoning that we are not equally safe in our homes and neighborhoods. Yes, 2020 has brought a year of pain, but it also bore a movement of change. All of these tragedies galvanized action among people to rebuild resilient environments and reshape more equitable policies and spaces for all. By definition of the word civic, as the Civic Design Center, we should always be focused on community-led change. 20 years ago, our organization was founded by people who wanted to stop policies and urban designs from happening to them and work towards a plan for Nashville that was created by and for them. As we look ahead to the next 20 years, we are committed to implementing the principles of socially conscious design throughout all the work we do. We are committed to taking an active role in listening to, learning from, and especially amplifying the voices of those who have not been heard. We are committed to advocating for diversity and inclusiveness in all aspects of design, development, and place and policymaking. And lastly, we are committed to coalition building that supports those doing critical advocacy work, as more minds are better than one when it comes to positive change. Because of these commitments, we updated our mission to advocate for civic design visions and actionable change in communities to improve quality of life for all. Our successes this year directly supported that mission, both through internal and external efforts. As you can see with our new branding, we created a new logo displaying that people should be reflected in the history, culture, and design of their communities. We redesigned and launched a new website that is much more user-friendly, better conveys our work and mission. We made a few other digital updates as well. We increased our advocacy presence in social media and overall organizational messaging. We implemented new methods of digital surveying to achieve a wider reach in our communities. And we also launched the Socially Conscious Design 101 course with our first cohort of 40 attendees this summer, and look forward to offering 2 sessions each year moving ahead. As I said before, partnerships and coalitions drive community-led change, which is especially why we committed to continued work with community leaders and stakeholders in North Nashville to support community development from within to help alleviate displacement caused by rapid gentrification. We also continued our partnership with the University of Tennessee College of Architecture and Design through remote learning design studios focused on communities' needs across Nashville. And finally, we continued collaboration with Mars Pet Care and the Better Cities for Pets program to focus on the health benefits that our pets bring to us, especially during the hardest of times. We also made great strides this year for reclaiming public space. We hosted our 9th annual parking day using best practices for socially distant design, and we also offered, for the first time, an option for virtual parklet submissions. And expedited by the pandemic, we also were able to work with the city and Metro Council members to introduce legislation that expands the sidewalk cafe permit. This allows for larger outdoor seating areas so that these businesses can thrive while still being socially distant and safe. And now our design director, Eric Hoke, is going to tell you about a design and community engagement project we did to reclaim public space through our action arm, Turbo Nashville. Take it away, Eric.
So we're out here at the corner of Greenwood Avenue and Porter Road. We're working on a public space improvement in this little bulb out that was carved out almost 2 years ago by a bikeway project down Porter Road, enhancing the bikeway network in East Nashville. This was a collaboration with Greater Nashville Realtors, WeGo Public Transit, as well as Metro Public Works. So we collaborated to carve out this little space, do a ground mural, install planters that work as traffic calming elements, as well as some outdoor cafe seating so people can take their to-go food or drinks to sit and enjoy the public space here. As part of this project, we did several stakeholder engagement sessions. We did 2 neighborhood association meetings, one with the Eastwood Neighborhood Association and one with the Rosebank Neighborhood Association. We also did 2 separate business engagement sessions with the surrounding businesses at Porter Crossings. Overall, the feedback we got was largely favorable. 81% of the feedback we got was positive in regarding the public space here. So now that this installation is in place, we'll work with surrounding businesses as well as community leaders and members to monitor the space and see how it's working, see if it's working, and hopefully it can inform a longer term installation that could go in this bulb out that was carved out by the Bikeway project. So projects like this are only possible with support of our donors and sponsors and members. So thank you all for supporting the Civic Design Center and Turbo, and hopefully we can do more projects like this.
Thank you, Eric. This is just one great example of how we have helped reclaim public space this year. We hope to bring more community-led public projects in the year ahead. Our Design Your Neighborhood Youth Program, now in its 5th year in schools, got some results from the Vanderbilt University Peabody College research team that has been partnering with us to evaluate this program. Based on the study, students showed improvement in leadership and in their interest in educating others. They also became more aware of local issues and also showed a stronger commitment to finishing high school. We are so grateful for the research team for helping us track the impacts of this groundbreaking program. It cost us $5,000 per school each year to provide the Design Your Neighborhood curriculum and the support needed for teachers and students. And last year, we had 24 schools signed up. So this year, we transitioned to a sponsor a school approach. We hope that this model will help us achieve full funding so that we may reach all Nashville 7th and 8th graders in the coming years. A big thank you to the James Stephen Turner Family Foundation, Jim and Janet Ayers, and the Villages for each sponsoring a school this year. If your company is interested in getting involved in this program and sponsoring a school, please reach out to us and we will get you engaged in the support that's needed for this program. Now our education director, Melody Gibson, is going to share about the program's transition to virtual learning and will also meet members of our youth design team. And they're going to give us an update on all the fun stuff they've been doing. Take it away, Melody.
We started by offering teachers activities designed around the current events. So they discussed articles about gentrification following the tornado and wrote blogs about how the isolation from the pandemic was affecting them. And then soon after, we were awarded a pretty major grant from Tennessee Community Cares that's played a major role in allowing us to transition our 7th and 8th grade STEAM curriculum to a virtual platform. So that process of the transition has included taking 150 hours worth of lesson plans and activities and basically putting them into a new format on Metro Public Schools virtual learning platform. And we've also on our own taken our educational board games. So we have been able to use the grant to digitize those board games so students can now play them online. So we feel like in the long run, this is going to be a huge development for Design Your Neighborhood because we now have it in a more accessible format for one. And we're also giving teachers different options in how to facilitate the lessons moving forward, which helps them meet the different needs of their students.
Now we're here with our Nashville Youth Design team. And as we mentioned before, this is a group of students that we've been throughout the year in partnership with a research team at Vanderbilt Peabody College. So I will leave it to the students to tell you more.
The Nashville Youth Design Team is a group of students all across the city from different schools that have the purpose of bringing change to Nashville. We are trying to speak up for young people like us to make data-driven changes in our neighborhoods. I was interested in being on the design team for the purpose of being able to bring impactful changes to both my neighborhood and other neighborhoods at a young age.
So over the summer, we learned about different categories of design and how they build parks and neighborhoods in the city. And then we interviewed our peers to ask them what adds to or subtracts from different areas of wellness in their communities. And then we took the data from those interviews and we overlaid it onto a map to get an idea of what it looks like. And a lot of the responses we got included community gardens, parks, community centers, grocery stores, places that essentially let them connect with their community more is a running theme that I saw in the responses.
The youth design team is planning to interview more young people as the year goes on, and one of our goals is to hear from a wider range of neighborhoods. We use the collected data to advocate for design changes in the young people's neighborhoods, and we may even participate in some of the projects.
All right, thank you, Noelle, Kate, and Lemma. So we've been really fortunate that we've still been able to do this program and work with these youth virtually. That's all with Design Your Neighborhood, so I'll send it back to Gary.
Thank you, Melody. Wow, I'm continually impressed by how Design Your Neighborhood is engaging students in middle schools to become advocates and voices for change in their communities and at such a young age. So as you can see, our work has carried on through all the changes of 2020. And while our transition to a virtual world has been major and sometimes challenging, we have also seen the benefits of greater engagement in numbers of attendees and participation from more voices, not only from here in Nashville, but from all over the country. I am so thankful to you all for joining us and thrilled about our program today. And most importantly, for your commitment to being active participants in the process of community-led change.